Okay, I have 4:15, call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Sam Martin, Bob Freeman, and Rick Morgan's here. Next item on the agenda is public input. Anybody have anything before we go into the red book?
Is this for anything?
Anything?
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Not at all?
Okay, I have a couple. My name's Joe, Joe Deegan, with Center Ossipee. I have my company in town, and I was wondering if I can arrange it. There's a screen that I'm getting to be able to demo, to be able to look at. I'm having another couple companies come in and do what I do too, to look at it. And I don't know what size screen it is right now, but I don't have the space to be able to set it up.
Okay.
If I can arrange it so that there's nothing going on or get in the middle, could I possibly use the space to set the screen up and take a look at it?
I have no objection to that, Joe. There is a
Yeah,
form to
there's-
utilize
there's a
for
sign-up sheet,
use of,
yeah.
and then they'll get it into the schedule to make sure that we don't have a conflict.
Okay.
Anybody
You
have
don't
any
have to
issue
go
with that?
bouncing basketballs.
And I'll know better about the.
No problem.
I'm getting it in my hands tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
fine.
Cool, thanks. I needed to ask that.
Okay.
I never did that before. And then I have a question for the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
It's a thing that I just want to double check to make sure that I'm doing this okay. UNH Cooperative wants to come in and ask some questions about 6 or 7 pieces of property that the town has.
Okay.
It's some sort of a questionnaire that they're doing for some study. If possible, I'd rather not take up the time of the meeting, because I think it's gonna take more time than that to answer questions. She's saying it's probably gonna be an hour, hour and a half for the questions. And there's no decisions to be made, and there's nothing to sign, and it's public information. So I was thinking of doing it at the end of our meeting, so as not to tie up anybody that doesn't need to be there. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you'd have to stay in meeting if you had a quorum.
Well, no, but I was only thinking of having like 3 of us there, and there's no decisions being made. So it's just answering her questions or letting her gain access to files.
Actually, I might even ask Ed on this one, but my thoughts are this. One, if you're not making a decision, if there is not a quorum of the board, I would, in the interest of transparency, certainly let people know in the context of your meeting. Are you taping the Conservation Commission?
Not the Conservation.
Okay. Make sure it's in the minutes and whatnot in advance so that people know that this is going to occur, so that
Sure.
if anybody that has an interest in being involved could be.
Okay.
Ed, past that, your thoughts?
Just be as transparent as possible. I don't see
Next.
why would, I guess my question would be, why wouldn't the quorum of the board be there to also take the survey questions and everything else?
Well, I'm not, because it's, I don't know everything of what they're looking for, but I believe it's just, I don't know, but it's asking questions about pieces of property. So it's just, so there's no decision-making, which is why you would need a quorum. It's not doing anything with the property, so there shouldn't be a quorum needed. It's just answering questions that UNH has specifically, probably about the use of the property, about the town's currently doing with it or possibly going to do with it.
Is there a chance that I would think it would be possible to get a copy of the questions in advance of the meeting?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was trying to get this done for this Wednesday to get it, yeah. so-
I'm with Ed. I just think we need to be as transparent as
Oh,
possible.
that's why I'm asking these, that's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
and then we will have, by way of announcement here at this meeting, that this is pending, or impending.
Put it on a calendar too.
And then anybody that has an interest can be involved.
Okay, thanks, I guess.
Help? Maybe not?
I'm not sure. Okay, thanks.
All right.
All right, appreciate
I
it.
think as long as he's got it on his agenda, he'd be fine.
If it's going to be on the agenda, then it would be a part of the meeting.
Yeah,
And that's what he's trying to avoid. We think it's going to take an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Just an informational sense of session.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's-
I
Who
mean,
is it
if you
with
put
again?
on the agenda, after the regular meeting, we will have an informal discussion with the university. That way, it's out in the public knows about it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I got it.
Anybody have anything else on the public input?
And maybe I have a question, I just thought I'd ask it since I'm not sure if I can. So Joy Gagnon from Ossipee. As far as the being able to go with the court to file a complaint or however that gets done for the vote and having a revote done as a voter, does the person that does that, if we do it, first off, is the time gone by when that can be done? And second of all, does it have to be a person who was outside, not able to get in, or can it be any voter that has a complaint?
I have no idea. And, well, I don't know that it can. Ed was absolutely correct. That is something that, quite frankly, is very separate from the Board of Selectmen. And I don't have an answer to that. I would hope the clerk's office would be helpful in answering those questions.
Secretary of State.
Or the Secretary of State's office. I don't know it. I don't know if there is a deadline. It's really outside of anything that we would normally get involved with. And I'm not trying to duck it. I don't know. And anybody have anything they want to add? Ed?
Right. Normally in the town meeting, it's 30 days afterwards, there's an appeal.
So, okay.
She can get the answer to that.
I just figured it's worth asking.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying, I just don't know.
Sooner rather than later, I think.
While we're on that, and might as well, it's not under the public input, does anybody have anything else they want to add or ask? We were not in a position to announce it last Monday night for obvious reasons, but we did meet with our council last Monday afternoon in non-public session, which we were allowed to do. Based on that meeting, it was a unanimous vote of this board to proceed with seeking remedy in Superior Court regarding the sale of the Camp Secaucus property. On Tuesday morning, our attorney filed for basically a temporary restraining order or an injunction to prevent the owners from transferring the property to any third party. And the judge did in fact issue that temporary restraining order, and it was scheduled for a full hearing tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in Superior Court. It is my understanding as of late this afternoon that hearing is not likely to take place tomorrow morning. It is going to be continued until the first week in January. For obvious reasons, because of litigation, we cannot necessarily discuss the details. I'm going to step out of my role as just a moment as chairman and speak as me, that I am beyond sad. I'm sick to my stomach that we are where we are. Bill and Diane Sheehan are good, honest, hardworking people. I can't go into details other than to simply say that good people make bad decisions, and good people are sometimes led astray by people who have less than honorable intentions. And at this point, we have a legal disagreement. And as Ed pointed out, the citizen's remedy is with the court. That's where our remedy is as well. We met with our town attorney, and after those discussions, he was extremely confident in the position that the town has taken. I can tell you that me, personally, if he were not confident, then my vote would not have been to proceed in the direction that we've gone. But we, on a regular basis, and I take it seriously, and I know my fellow board members do, at the end of the day, we need to take all of the information we have and make the very best decision that we can make with that information. Doesn't make us right, doesn't make us wrong. It makes us selectmen. And We have a legal disagreement. It should not be looked upon as a slamming of the Shaheens, because that's not my intention in any way, shape, or form. We have a legal disagreement, and the place to get that resolved is in a courtroom. And that's all I have to say about it. Mr. Bishop.
Ash Fishbein, Ossipee resident. There were two contingencies in that purchase and sales agreement, one being the results of the special town meeting. The second one was a closing by 12/31. If the hearing is postponed past 12/31, does that impact anything, or is it because the case is from the hearing that that contingency is null and void?
To the best of my knowledge, it is not effective. The continuance will be by agreement with their counsel. And it'll be ultimately approved and ordered by the court. So normally, that initial hearing, which we had, is a temporary, and then you must have the full hearing within 10 days, unless there is an agreement that the court signs on. So we were prepared to go to court tomorrow morning. And it appears, at least at this juncture, that it's not going to happen. As a side note, we're also going to get a major storm tomorrow, so it may have got canceled anyway because of weather. But according to our attorney, nothing changes. It doesn't. We're not suffering any harm by the continuance, et cetera, et cetera. Ed?
Do we know offhand, when does the court or the judge authorize the vote? Like, when does she review and accept that the voting process went forward the way the way it was designed, and that it was affirmed, or what's the word that she would use? What time period is that?
I have no idea. I don't know if that is a process which actually occurs. The court, when we went to court back in the fall to get permission for a town meeting, looked at whether or not we had met all of the requirements, looked at, in particular, spent a lot of time making sure that we met all the posting requirements, et cetera, and then had to find that there was a sufficient emergency to allow for a special town meeting. The judge, in fact, found all of those things and then authorized the meeting. I don't know if there is any process thereafter where they certify, or I don't think there is. If there is, I've never heard of one.
Isn't there a certification for a regular town meeting when there's an election and votes?
I believe it's certified by the Board of Selectmen, and that's why there's normally one that stays on.
Yeah, but again, nothing involving the court, so.
Yeah. I guess I bring this up because if people in town feel that they want to file with the court challenging the vote process, then they would need to go to the court and not worry about anybody else. Go to court and file. Let the court decide if they want to come. I mean, if 50 other people have already done that, I don't know. But if they have, then the court will say, okay, we're not going to have 50 different, court appearances or hearings for one thing. They may choose to do one hearing. But I'm just saying, if anybody has an issue, don't hesitate. Just go and file.
I did also have a call this week from a resident who felt that they were denied access to the building and were told that they weren't likely to be able to vote, and then in fact left. That person expressed some concern to me that they felt that by filing in the courtroom that they would actually be filing suit against the town and did not want to be perceived as suing their own town.
That's what I'm hearing also, and that's, I think, the reluctancy.
Yeah, I assured the person that I spoke to that couldn't be farther from the case. It's not a case that they are suing the town for monetary damages or anything like that. But the position, I believe, that they would be taking is that their rights as a voter were interfered with. Now, I don't believe, and I've made this very clear I think the moderator did a good job and always does. Kelly and her office are about as professional a town clerk as you will ever find. Nobody foresaw the number of people coming that came. Nobody. And because of that, it created some problems. Through no fault of anybody's, nobody anticipated that number showing up. That alone, I believe, is a problem, and it's a problem that we're already discussing about what happens if it happens again. What happens? I mean, we've all decried the fact that so few people come to town meeting. Where would you have a meeting if they did all show up? There isn't a place literally in the town of Ossipee that would hold every registered voter. So I would simply say to people, if they feel that their rights were abridged in any way, shape, or form, as Ed pointed out, the avenue to pursue that, and rightfully so, would be in the Superior Court. It's not, I certainly wouldn't take any offense at it, and it's not a case that they're saying that we did anything wrong. It's saying the set of circumstances occurred that prevented them from being able to participate. And I would encourage people to do what they think is right. Anybody else? If not, we'll start into the red folder.
I want to talk to Isaac. Isaac, can you come here for a second? I just want to shake your hand. Thank you for standing up for what you believe in. Don't ever stop doing that. Okay.
Charlie wasn't here last Monday night. I said to your mom, and I said on the camera last week, I thought you were very brave. It takes a lot of gumption to stand up in front of 200 people and speak. I know. I do it all the time. So,
But at your age, it
congratulations.
took a lot,
It takes
so
a
thank
lot, and you showed a lot of class and a lot of courage. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We have the minutes of the Selectmen's meeting, which occurred on Monday, December 4th. I make a motion to accept them as printed. All in favor? Aye. We have the minutes of the Selectmen's department head meeting and work session, which occurred on Monday, December 4th. I make a motion we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have the check voucher totals. Payroll for week ending 12/9, which includes wages, payroll taxes, and insurance, was $141,997.29. Accounts payable for week ending 12/2, correction, was $269,910.52. We paid a school payment, 12/2, in the amount of $912,975.
No, that's a county payment, I believe.
I'm sorry, that was the county payment, $912,975. For a total dispersed this week, $1,324,882.81. Additionally, we paid water and sewer accounts payable in the amount of $15,200.88. I'll make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. These are the check voucher totals, after they're put into batches. We do review each and every bill individually and initially before it gets to you. We have a payroll reimbursement request in the amount of, this is water and sewer, in the amount of $3,151.26. I make a motion to sign. All in favor? Aye. We have a notice of intent to cut wood or timber. This is on map 252, lots 17 and 18 on Walker Hill Road. The owner is Catherine Prouse. The logger is Tim Nolan. Taxes have been paid. I make a motion we approve it. Second. All in favor? Aye. We have a copy of a check we received from North Country Recycling in the amount of $1,081.32. It was for scrap metal. We have the recycling center cash log showing that we collected $7,084.45 in the month of November. This is a certification of yield. This is on the, what were formerly a little bit different form on the timber tax warrant. This is authorizing the collection of $6,149.99. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. State has changed the forms, so a little more cumbersome. This goes to that. We have a second one that authorizes the tax collector, it's also a timber tax yield, and will collect $659.76. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have another letter dated 12/7/17, Dear Ossipee Board of Selectmen. I just wanted to voice my opinion regarding the town vote/meeting on the purchase of land to be used as a new town beach in Ossipee Lake. Unfortunately, I was unable to hear much of the discussion since the town hall was so full. I showed up on time at 6:30, but had to wait outside during most of the discussion. By the time the voting was to take place, it was evident that I would not get a chance to vote unless I stayed out much later than I was able to that night. As a result, I left before I could vote. I would love to vote for/in favor of the purchase if given another chance. Aaron, I can't read the last name, some Ossipee.
I believe it's hard.
Hartley, okay. You have an email dated December 8th.
No, it's been taken care of. It's just-
I'm not sure if this is the best way to communicate this, but while watching the 12/4 meeting video on government oversight, a curious question was presented to the folks in attendance, whether or not anyone was dissuaded from voting. I was in line, and while unable to hear any of the debate, speeches, etc., there was at least one gentleman walking out past the crowds in line telling them that they shouldn't wait because they'll never get inside. Folks were unsure they were going to have an opportunity to vote. There were several older folks here or there that I can understand them not being able to remain standing in line for that period of time. Even standing in the doorway to the gymnasium, I was unable to hear discussions taking place due to the noise and commotion in the hallway. The only voice I was able to hear was that of the little boy asking for some place close to home that he could go swimming. I too was very disappointed in not being able to hear the discussions taking place, even though I already knew how I was planning to vote. I was, however, very pleased to see the number of folks that did turn out to vote, knowing this could possibly be the only opportunity for Ossipee residents and their children to have access to a beach in their hometown. I am rather disheartened at the fact someone might consider discouraging their fellow townspeople/neighbor from casting their vote. This is very important to the town, not just for this issue, but for any future issues. And that's from a Diane Cooney, also from Ossipee. We have a notice of decision from the planning board. This is regarding case number 17-11-SPR, soil engineering. Hospital plan, it was granted. And this is to construct a O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Conditional site plan was granted.
Next to, Tractor Supply.
We have the proposed budget and estimate of revenue for Carroll County. the amount raised in a budget last year was $30,512,138. The proposed budget for 2018 is $32,147,951. Guess that would be about about 1.7, 1.8 million more, Ed, million?
Today, they did have the preliminary budget presentment from the commissioners to the delegation, and they stated there will be no raise in taxes
Okay.
from the last.
Well, the reason for that, because on the revenue side, last year they had projected revenue of $12,908,000. They, year to date, and I know this isn't in the year, but they only collected $10,117,000. And they're projecting revenues of $14,544,000. So if their numbers hold true, they're projecting about the same amount of revenue increase as they do in budget increase.
They're also expected, they also presented the possible use of $740,000 approximately to offset taxes to keep it at that zero.
Okay.
And that the entire budget process is going forward. The delegation subcommittees are going to begin to meet, and you're going to hear more about that.
Okay. We have a copy of a check from Northeast Resources Recovery. This is for $566.43, again for scrap metal. We have a water and sewer warrant instructing the tax collector to collect $920.57. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have a second water and sewer warrant authorizing the tax collector to collect $5,370. I make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That completes the red folder. Brad's not here today.
He did want to announce, he is attending a DOT commission meeting tomorrow on the 171-28 intersection improvements, so he'll be able to report back on that next week.
Okay. While we're on that, it's not really old business, it's as much about new business. But just simply way of announcement, and that many people will know that one of the Wilkesboro highway workers was injured severely last week, since our last meeting. He was working for the town on one of their roads. The vehicle was completely off the road. The lights were going, they had signs out, and the young man was wearing a reflective vest and was still hit by a car and hurt quite seriously. He was ultimately airlifted to Maine Medical and was in critical condition for a period of days. The only reason I bring that up is, well, two things. One, I certainly hope that people will keep him and his family in their prayers. There are a couple of funds which have been set up, and I would refer anybody that wants to support them to the Wilkesboro Highway Department to get steered to the correct place. And the second thing is, obviously, we have guys out there every day. Not only our highway workers, but our water and sewer department, the people that work in the incinerator, our police, our firemen. I don't know the circumstances that led up to this accident. One of the press releases said there would be charges forthcoming. I don't know. But I would simply ask anybody and everybody, when you see those road construction signs, when you see those guys out there working in the street, whether it's a police officer that's got a car stopped, a fireman, just use caution. I mean, every single one of them have a wife and kids. They're doing this for a job. They would really like to go home at the end of their shift. And please, 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 give them some room. And try to be cognizant of those flashing lights and the road work ahead signs. We take every precaution we can with that stuff to protect our workers, and it doesn't always work. And I certainly want to call attention to that and ask anybody that's watching who hears this meeting to please, please, please give them some room and abide by the signs and warnings and just slow down. On the town beach, there is a recount. According to our town clerk, she did receive a petition with 10 qualified voters who requested a recount, and that is scheduled for the 13th, which is Wednesday, at 5 o'clock here in this room. Anything on the covered bridge? No. Any other old business?
No.
New business? Anything else?
No.
We had a finance meeting this afternoon with our finance team. Discussed a myriad of issues, mainly surrounded around the collection of taxes, which are ongoing. Talked a little bit about what monies we may encumber going into the new year. And obviously, we're neck deep in our budget process. So that meeting was held this afternoon. That includes our finance manager, the town clerk, the town treasurer, town administrator, and the board of selectmen. I don't think there's anything else. Budget committee isn't now scheduled to meet again until the first week in January. Second public input. Anybody have anything? How's things at the library?
We have a program next Monday, Stories with Mrs. Claus. So if
Okay.
you're having grandkids or whatever, it's at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Monday, Monday the 18th. Yeah.
Okay. Of the, go ahead, Connie.
FYI, there was another accident, 71, 28th this morning, T-boned. And that, one of the cars hit a third car. Three cars, yeah. No. One of them was Master Way's wife. It wasn't her. One of the one that T-boned, or the T-boned car, hit her car.
It is a exceedingly dangerous intersection. We all know it. The statistics are flat there. You know, there have been now 2 fatalities that I'm aware of. I covered one when I was still chief 10 years ago. It was a double fatality. Ironically, they were from Wakefield. And the newest one's also, the latest fatalities were also a couple from Wakefield. But we've been working now for quite some time. As everybody will know, we have been lobbying hard. We've involved our not only our delegation for the representatives, but Jeff Bradley, and they came up with a plan. Quite frankly, a plan that everybody except DOT believe will not work. We did finally get them to take a second look at it, and now they are in the design phase to complete what I believe, and everybody believes, it's not just me, but the fire chief, the public works director, and everybody that's been involved in that intersection for all these years. They do finally have a plan that we believe will work. But like anything else, it takes some time. And one of the things that I cautioned at the public hearing that we had is that before this intersection is completed, statistically speaking, based on the history of that intersection, there will be a hell of a lot of people hurt, and there will most likely be somebody else die in that intersection before it's improved. That's a bit of a hard pill to swallow. We're doing everything that we know how to do. We've exerted as much pressure on DOT as we can. When you work with state government, it moves very, very, very slowly. And we're trying. But it is a dangerous intersection. Certainly people need to be aware of it. Again, you know, like we're mentioning this about the highway worker, you can't assume because you are familiar with that intersection that everybody you meet down there is going to be. Look left and right 6 times if you have to, but it's a dangerous intersection that has hurt and killed now several people. Hurt a lot. Anything else on that, Connie? There had been added a note I wasn't aware of, that Dot, one of the library trustees has passed away.
I think Sunday.
Okay. Did we send flowers?
We haven't done anything, I'm waiting for the arrangements to find out.
When you're committed to do, please make sure that happens.
Absolutely.
Pass on our condolences.
Donnie Kowalski,
Yeah, excuse me.
they just moved.
Yes.
They just bought property over in Tuckamore.
Said. Anybody have anything else? No, I don't. If not, I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.